they said, you know, the Lord our God did not lie. The land is very good. It's a land flowing with milk and honey. And here's the grapes we brought from there. People say, oh, those grapes, how could it be that big? But you know, the grapes were that big. All you have to do is just believe the Bible as it is. Look at it. Look at these grapes. This is for real. They should have said, let's believe in God, let's go. But instead they said, this is all for real. But even though the land is a land flowing with milk and honey, and though it's really nice with lots of cities, but the people who live there, the Canaanites, the Amorites, they are so big and strong. If they just hit us once, we'll all die. I don't know why the Lord our God brought us all the way over here to kill us, to have us fight those giants. And He's going to kill us all. And our wives will be their wives. Our children will be their slaves. And this is the way the 12 leaders spoke. All throughout history, it was a leader of God's people that had no faith. That's why the leaders of God's people must be awake and have faith. All throughout history, it was always the leaders that ruled the church. But the leaders of this attic room, this morning, must search their hearts. And if you think that you should not be a leader, then you should tender your resignation. This is not a time to keep position. You need to have faith in our real Father and conquer the land of Canaan. When there's a leader without faith, then not only can they not go into the promised land, but they will kill everyone. And of course, the people were waiting for a reason to rebel and betray. And once they said that, the people all arose and said, we thought so. The God who has led us up to now is a lie. Moses is a deceiver. And God, He's a false God. He only wanted to kill us. He wanted all the men to die, the women to be the wives of those enemies, and our children to be slaves. So He's a false God. He's a demon. Among the 12, though, there was two, Caleb and Joshua, that said, everyone, calm down. When we were living in Egypt, we had no hope. But we were freed. When we were free, did we fight? Did we shed blood? What did we do? We came out for free. And when we crossed the Red Sea, did we have any boats? Our father had us cross the sea. And what about for the past 40 years? Did we farm? Did we buy any clothes? Did we buy any shoes? He fed us. He clothed us. He gave us water. He even gave us meat. He has never left our side. Let's believe in God. So they said, you crazy? And they tried to stone them to death. At that time, our father protected them in glory, or else they would have died under a heap of stones. In this way, because the people failed to kill those who believed in God, the people became more upset. That's why those who believe in God and those who don't believe in God become enemies. So because they couldn't kill them, the people couldn't sleep at night. And they began to scream and yell. They cursed Moses. They cursed God. They cursed Joshua, Caleb. God had fed them, clothed them, loved them, and guided them for 40 years, but this was the end result. So all night long, he was cursed. And in the morning, God called Moses and said, Moses, There's nothing else I can do for these
이
people.
백성이 그렇게 40년 나는 애굽에 들어가서 죽고 싶다고 이 세상에
For 40 years they said they want to go back to Egypt. They even say they want to die in the wilderness. They'd rather die than follow. So I'll just give them what they want. If they want to go back to Egypt, I'll let them go back to Egypt. If they want to die in the wilderness, I'll let them die in the wilderness. And because Caleb and Joshua want to go to my promised land, then I'll let them go. Is God fair? There's not one person which God killed from the very beginning. Everyone who wants to follow the demon, he lets them follow the demon. And that's why they die. Those who don't need God, then he lets them leave him. And they end up dying. Our God is fair. He lets everyone do whatever they want. So Moses proclaimed to the people all night long, you said you wanted to go back to Egypt. You don't want to follow God. Then he allowed all of you to do that. And Caleb and Joshua, because they want to go to the promised land, he is letting them go in the promised land. Is that okay? And then, as he thought about it, it's unfair. They don't want that. Even though they cursed God and cursed Moses, it's because they were hoping that God would treat them better. It's not because they really wanted to go back to Egypt or really want to die in the wilderness. You know, people who complain at home and say they want to die, it's not because they really want to die. They just want things to be better and they just want people to listen to them. So even if you're God, you couldn't do any better for them. Look at the people of the Stone Country. Do they have a job? Do they have money? Do they have land? Yet right now, the whole world has such financial difficulties. Though our country is considered rich, there are so many elementary school students who can't even eat lunch because they don't have enough money to. But what about you? You don't even have a job. And did anyone of you starve? You ate as much as you want. And there's lots of cars. You go all throughout the country doing missionary work. People who don't even make $1,000, not even $100, you can go all throughout the country. Who's doing this for you? Yet, when you turn around, you complain and murmur and say, you know, if I was not here, I'd be some president or I'd be a doctor, I'd make so much money. And they say as if they lost a lot. Following real daddy, they complain, they murmur. Those kind of people, I've asked you so many times, please go back into the world and go get a job. It's not late, even today. Regardless, I will follow my real daddy. So the Israelites were shocked because they didn't know that God would actually let them die in the wilderness or go back to Egypt. So the people said, no. Let's believe in God's love. And they took their swords and they went to the land of Canaan to kill the people there. Moses stopped them. Please, we must go when God tells us to go. Don't go by yourself. You said you wanted to go to Egypt. And he said you can go. But why are you going to Canaan? He said, you have no faith. Let's go. And they went. And when they went, what happened? The Canaanites and all the people there, they were really giants and they were really strong. And so the first group that went out to fight, they were all killed. Boulders would roll to them. And so many died. It would be God's power that would allow them to have victory. Do you go into the heavenly kingdom because you're special? Look at the people in America, England, France. There are lots of much better people there. They're good looking, strong, tall, cultured. But the shortest, ugliest, the people of Korea, He chose you because you are forsaken thorn bush. Then why do you think you're special? And say, is this how I am treated? Please, this morning, I hope that you will
이스라엘
search your hearts.
100배나 믿음이 좋은 사람들이 있어요, 여러분.
The Israelites in the time of Moses had much better faith than you. If I told all of you to follow me to the ocean, who would follow me? You think I'm crazy. But the Israelites actually followed Moses into the sea. And if I took you to the wilderness, and I would take you around for 40 years, and who would follow me? You wouldn't even start. And I would go alone. Then how can you say that your faith is any better than them? Up to now, we not only receive spiritual miracles, but physical miracles. From the beginning of the seminar up to now, I had no money. When I wrote the Key to Happiness book, I didn't have enough money to even publish the book. But after I wrote it all out, our daddy had someone else pay for the book to be published. So do you think there's any church? I'm all by myself, and the Bible reader there, she was also with me. And my family, that's all. Yet up to now, there was never a time where we didn't have enough money, didn't have enough people, didn't have enough buildings. Before we had this institute, we used to borrow prayer places and borrow other retreats. And they would still tell us, what kind of religion are you? What do you teach? And we paid them all the money. And if they told us, oh, you can use it on a certain date, and then we said, okay. And when we started building this temple, people said, why are we building a temple? It's already the last days. What a waste of money. And they cursed. And at that time when we borrowed a certain prayer place, we only had 6 pressure cookers. But at that time, 400 people came. And how can we feed 400 people with 6 pressure cookers? How are we going to feed them? We can't even go to the market and buy anything. And people were worried. There's only 6 pressure cookers, but they need to feed 400 people. So I told them, just feed them all. Do you know what happened that meeting, that seminar? Though it was 6 pressure cookers, everyone ate, and there was still rice left over. You know the miracle of the 5 loaves of barley bread and the fish? It's the same miracle was shown to us at that time. And aside from that, there's countless stories. Even when we built this temple or the other temple over there, it's supposed to be the monsoon season and the rain is supposed to fall. There might even be a flood. But there's supposed to be a seminar during that monsoon period. Before we used to have this meeting once a month. So the date for the next seminar is next month. And we need to build continuously until that date to finish. But there's supposed to be 10 days of rain. And we can't work. So the construction company made a deal with us. If we can't build it by that date, then we'll return money. But if it rains, we don't have to pay you back. Because it's a cause of nature. So that was a condition. So the president of this institute said, don't worry, it won't rain. What do you mean? The weather report says it's going to rain. Don't worry. It's not going to rain. Let's do it. In the city of Wonju, it's pouring rain, but it didn't rain here. So do you know what I said then? Right now, our daddy is sitting here with an umbrella. And it's a fact. The God who led the Israelites with the pillar of fire and a pillar of clothes is our real Father. And when it's 90, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, that time,
그래가지고 거기서 막
The cafeteria was a tent, and 100, 200 people are in there, and it's hot.
좋은 건물에서도
Even in a nice building,
돈이 다 싫다고 그냥 전부 내빼가지고
it's so hot that people close their business and they go out to the countryside where it's cooler. But when there's 100, 200 people going inside a tent, it's cooking them. So everyone else was sweating to death. When people came here, they would say, why is it so cool here? It's because our daddy had clouds to cover the sun from us. Right now you can see there are lots of apartments and buildings here. Did we build all this because we had money? Right now, our treasurer only has $20,000. I even heard that we only had $10,000. We've done this work without money. But all the buildings are being built. We will continue building until the end. This temple too, we started this work with $12,000. Other churches, they start with $1 million. And they have a budget, but we have no budget. Why? Because Daddy always gives us the money when we need it. When we started building, this temple, He gave us the money when we needed it. So spiritually and physically, our Daddy showed us so many miracles. Did those Israelites have a temple like this? They lived under the sun, and they really had a hard time and suffered. How about us? We are living luxuriously. We're being treated first class, and yet people complain and murmur. In the end, they stand up the enemy and they say that they want to kill Myeongho Park.
모세가 그 백성들에게 얼마 죽었다 해서 얼마. 애굽 백성이 모세를 죽인 게 아니라 그 자기 백성이 모세를
That's why it was his own people that killed Moses. It says he died from a broken heart because the people caused him so much pain. He was a man who gave up the throne of Egypt. Then why would he want to be a king of those uneducated people?
그 이스라엘 백성들 왕이 되라고 원조라고 지가 왕 되려고 했다고 잡아주겠어요.
People think that Jesus came to this earth to become a king, and they tried to kill him for it too.
이렇게 해서 가나안 땅을 못 들어가게 되자.
And because they couldn't go into the land of Canaan,
복수심이 불타가지고
one man who was angry against God
일부러 안식일날 멸방 짊어지고 가서
went out on Sabbath and started to collect wood on purpose. Up to then, there was not one person who purposely defiled the Sabbath. So they took him to Moses, and Moses said, let me ask God. And God told him, stone him immediately. Right now, the Seventh-day Adventists, they are defiling the Sabbath openly, but at the time, there's not one person. So for the first time, someone purposely went out and did wood. Why? Why did God have them kill them on the spot? It's not because He is a God of the sword. It's because He's their loving real Father. So those who defile the Sabbath, even if they are left to live, in the end they will die. God could have had that man go back home and live. But the rest of the Israelites would have seen His example. They would have all gone out to do work and defile the Sabbath. Then what would happen to them? They would all have to die. So since he would end up dying, our Father allowed him to die earlier in order to save the rest of the Israelites. Both those Protestant theologians, do you think they would know this fact? And if God had forgiven them and sent them home, then people who would read the Bible would have learned from that, and the Sabbath would have already disappeared from this earth. Then what happened? Everyone on this earth would have to die. That's why in order to save His children, He allowed that son to die a little earlier in order to save everyone else. So how is He not our real Father who loves us? So now do you understand? People say, oh, God told the Israelites to kill the Canaanites, young and old, every single person.
때문에 그렇게 했어요.
But why? Because He is our loving real Father.
잘 먹고 잘 사는 사람, 야 저거 갑자기 들어 쳐 죽이고 재산 다 뺏어라 그렇게 안 했어요.
God did not tell His people to go kill the Canaanites all of a sudden. Our Father loves the Canaanites as well.
많은 선자를 계속
And that's why
보내면서
our Father sent
같은 선자는 가나안 땅에 하나님
many prophets like Balaam
보내면서
to the Canaanites and to the other giants,
은혜 기간을 준 것처럼
just as He gave the world 120 years
돌아오라고.
in the time of Noah. He gave them so much time to return to Him and repent.
모기 차기까지 배도하고 하나님 대적한 것처럼 끝까지 자기 거짓 귀신.
But just as the Israelites rejected God for 40 years, they also rejected God to the end and said that they wanted their idols and their false gods. But our Father made His last cry to the people of Canaan. He allowed the Canaanites to see from up high how God led the Israelites to the wilderness, how they crossed the Red Sea. So they saw that the Israelites were freed from Egypt without fighting. He was saying, look, throw away your weapons and come back to me. It was a silent call by our Father. And as they crossed the Red Sea, look, my children can cross the Red Sea without a boat. Return to me. As Israelites were in the wilderness for 40 years and they didn't farm, yet they ate, drank, were clothed. He was telling them, look, they don't suffer, yet I feed and I clothe them. Please, don't live like orphans anymore. Return to me and don't suffer. They are watching it all. But because their hearts were so stubborn, they didn't accept Him. And they said, we want to follow our God, our idol. And the last cry was when the city of Jericho, which had double walls, when it was destroyed, because no human could ever destroy it, He showed how the city was destroyed, not with a stone, not with a sword, not with a spear, but they just went around it and it collapsed. So He's telling them, please, don't be that stubborn anymore. Open your gates, accept me. But they fought against God to the end. So if you look in the Bible, you can see how it's written that God told the Israelites to avoid them. Avoid the Edomites. Avoid the Amorites. Why? Because He was waiting for even those people of Canaan to return to Him. And that's our real Father's love. But not one returned. Instead, they locked their gates. And they rejected God and they went to their idol, who accept sacrifice of living people. And even though the door of grace was closed to them, our Father did not want the Israelites to kill the Canaanites. He was going to use these bees, hornets, to chase them out. There are certain hornets that if you get stung by it, like in your head, then there is no hair. One time, an elder who took care of bees heard that if you use the sting of a bee as acupuncture, it's good for you. So someone got acupuncture from these bees 60 times, but there was no effect. So he took a hornet. And once he got stung by those hornets, he was even in more pain and he almost died. But our Father was going to send those hornets, hundreds of thousands, millions of them. And those Canaanites wouldn't have time to pack and they would just run away. So without a fight, without shedding blood, without using a weapon, it was our Father's plan to send the Israelites into Canaan.